Hello YouTubers again. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the Gio X31 250 dirt bike. And I love it. I've owned a Yamaha YZ250F 4-stroke obviously. It was a 2004 completely rebuilt and everything. Like all brand new parts and aftermarket and everything. And drove it on the logging trails. It wasn't as fun as this bike, believe it or not, because it was way heavier, and the hard dirt on the logging roads, it didn't agree with like the kind of torque that thing had. Like I didn't wipe out at all, but I'm just saying, like it can pull you back real quick, and you can't go very slow with a bike that's meant for loose soil and like MX racing. Like if you get to some rough parts, you're gonna have to just battle it right through, because it doesn't have a slow speed, it'll just stall. Or you could have the clutch halfway in and then go through it like that, but I wouldn't recommend that. This bike is very light, very maneuverable, goes as fast as you'd ever need to go on a logging road, probably easily over 100 clicks, and shifts, like accelerates through the gears within, I can probably accelerate through all the gears on flat ground in like, I don't know, 8 seconds, like nothing. I just love this bike. I replaced the handlebar grips so that I don't have sore wrists, because the Gio ones are really hard. Pro Taper, they make really good ones. As you can see, there's a bit of damage here because I was flying and I went around this one corner and it was too tight. I thought it was gonna straighten out, but it just got tighter. So I just tapped on the brake and it started to slowly slide until I was almost touching the ground, drifting around the corner. Like practically almost touching the ground. I couldn't believe it wasn't sliding on its side. But then I made it like quite a ways actually, drifting like that, and then finally it caught on a rock or a bump or something, and I just went flying, and luckily I landed on my feet and then rolled, but the bike easily took the hit. The only thing that happened was this tip got broke off, and I had to fiddle with this again because it had a sticky throttle, but that's really easy to fix. You reset it. So it has an electric start. The compression on this thing is amazing new. Like the electric start can barely turn over the engine, and this thing, just stomping on it with all my weight, and I'm on 150 pounds, half the time it stops there because there's too much compression to let me even kick it down. Like it just has tons of compression, way more. Like my YZ sounded way better than this bike, honestly. And on loose soil I would take the YZ because it'd be a lot more fun in loose soil, but for this like bike, it's just awesome for the price. I got it in winter for $1,000 without tax and shipping. It was $1,000 on auction, even though they don't really do the auction for this anymore. It's just more like you just buy at whatever price they have posted, and that's an amazing deal. I always wait, like you gotta wait on that site till it's December or January, and that's where you get the deals. In summer you may as well just get a name brand like old 2-stroke. Those things are pretty reliable and easy to work on, easy to rebuild the motor and everything. So yeah, those are a good option. Even get those in the winter, they're a good option. But yeah, I love this bike, and the one great thing about it is that the brakes on it, if you have an older Gio, they're exactly the same brake as like that. This bike wore it out after 4 years, just the back rim is shot, but well, yeah, the spokes are breaking on it, so I'm done riding that thing, outgrew it. But a lot of the parts I can use on that bike even, so. And yeah, from when the bike hit the ground, this thing also bent, but it's got the original tires. Gio tires I find to be more grippy than like say Dunlop tires because they're a bit softer. They don't last as long, but you get a lot more grip. And the carburetor on mine, my dad has one too. He's had that thing for 2 or 3 years, no problems. Just had to put a different baffle in the muffler because the baffles that the Gios have on these 250s are crap. I think his blew right out the end even. And just a bunch of metal wrapped around in a ball and put in through a bolt. That did it. Made it quiet enough. Yeah, no problems. My bike's faster than his because it's newer, but his still really reps. They're both just great bikes. His doesn't have an idling problem with the carburetor. My carburetor is pretty finicky. We were doing like the gas air bolt thing and like the adjustment for that, and the little bolt that you turn to get the right mixture. This thing wanted a lot of gas mixture, so eventually we just had the bolt so far out, then I took it for a little spin and the bolt fell out who knows where, and now we just don't even have a bolt in there, so it's just fine though. Anyway, we put a baffle in mine too. The muffler must have blown this piece right off here because they got a lot of force coming out of here. Boom, boom. And this thing still is really loud, louder than the black one, but like downhill, it just backfires. Like if you have it floored going down like and you let off the gas, it'll just keep backfiring like bang, 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 bang. Because I think they tried to make like their own performance muffler for 4 strokes for more output, gives you more power, but pretty loud though. It gets a bit annoying after like 4 hours of riding, that's for sure. And but yeah, not that big of a deal for me, because yeah, just awesome bike. Can't really find any problems with the bike. Just make sure the chain is adjusted to your weight so it doesn't pop. And replace the fuel filter. Came with a really crummy one that was leaking, and also the carburetor is pretty hard to get at to tweak. Like I had to take the seat off and the plastics, and the battery's under the seat if you need to charge it too. And the tranny, if you are going around on a lot of bumps and stuff, and then you say take a break and like you're trying to get into neutral with the clutch in or whatever, it doesn't want to go into neutral. Like it doesn't want to downshift sometimes. But yeah, then if you like eventually it'll go down, like shift down, but like it can be a bit annoying sometimes. Like mine is more of a problem for that than the black bike. That one's older, but yeah, this one's pretty new. It's only a few months old, and yeah, but shouldn't be too big of a deal really, because this bike has had a small transmission problem lately too, but they just keep going. It doesn't matter if there's a small problem, they just still keep on ripping. Yeah, awesome bikes. Go like 4 hours on the tank, just sips gas, comes with a little key, turn it, and then you can start the bike. Just press that and turn the throttle a little bit, or yeah, you gotta have the choke on too. This bike actually, wait, I think the choke might, oh there it is. It has 2 settings. The bottom one is for when the bike's like been running for a little while. Like you run it on middle choke once it's running, and well, this bike actually likes it on the middle setting more, because this one's likes more RPMs or whatever, I guess, because the carburetor's finicky. But anyway, that won't hurt the bike. The middle setting, it won't. And the low setting is, the other bike works good on the low setting, and it idles really good. This one, if you try and like rev it like really quick, like it'll just go boot, boot, and like just die. But if you do it slow, then it'll have no problem. That bike, no problem with the throttle or anything. Just great bikes for the money. So yeah, they can take some abuse too. Name brand bikes, they're good, but Gio bikes, they're pretty good too. Also, I'd like to add that Gio said that these bikes have name brand suspension and a name brand carburetor apparently. Can't believe name brand would use a finicky carburetor though, but Kawasaki's and Hondas, they use the carbs on like some of the older Kawasaki and Honda quads, but yeah. The motor though, there's no problem with the motor, it's just raring to go. Also the brakes, no problems with those at all. They actually did a pretty good job on these bikes. You gotta give them credit, especially for $1,000 brand new. This one, it likes to be ridden for a while before it will idle nice, but this one has no problem. It might be because this one's still kind of getting broken in a bit. I didn't really give it a break-in period really. I just had this baby floored all out downhill, which you shouldn't do. But I couldn't resist because it can go like, felt like 110 clicks easily. I was just screaming fast. I'm doing that.